Hello everyone, welcome to episode 7 of my story of steam from from the 1820s until the 1960s, using locomotives from my collection. These are all 00 gauge. This one was featured in my last episode. It's an 060 Ginty made from 1924. So the next progression is this locomotive designed by Charles Collett in 1929 and was in production until 1950. So that's a long production run, and they were a very, very good loco. They had a rating of 3F, so that's the same as the Ginty, the same pulling power. These weighed 48 tons and had a tractive effort of 10.5 tons, so they were quite a powerful loco. These were operated mostly by the Great Western Railway, British Railways, the National Coal Board and London Transport. The London Transport locos were painted red, or the livery was red, whereas as you can see, the Great Western livery is green. And these are pannier tank locomotives, whereas the Ginty is a side tank loco. So like I say, this is the progression. 5 years later, they've now gone on to the pannier type configuration, and I believe it was due to the boilers, the actual shape of the coal box and boiler. So yes, 863 of these locos were produced, which is a considerable number. 863. 16 are in preservation. I believe one of them may be non-operational, but 16 are preserved. 12 of these were sent to the Barry Scrapyard, the famous Mr. Di Woodham, and 5 were rescued and put into preservation. So that's a good story, that instead of them being scrapped, 5 of them were rescued. So these also have another fascinating history, that they have air brakes for the loco and vacuum brakes for the wagons. However, the vast majority of wagons didn't have any braking system operated by the loco. Certain passenger wagons had braking, but these goods wagons were mostly unbraked, and that's why you'll see a brake van at the end. So the locomotive had air brakes and vacuum brakes for any wagon that may have been fitted with them. Hornby produced these from 1972 until 1979. So again, quite a long production run. I had one in the red, and I had a green GWR. They were fitted with the XO4 motor and the deep wheel flanges, and unfortunately were very poor runners, and they're no longer with me. They found other functions. Let's say it like that. Right. So this one is a Bachmann. Very, very nicely detailed, and a very nice runner. And as you'll see, the driver has nice clean coveralls because he's on film. On the Great Western Railway, the drivers were on the right side, and on the LMS, LNER, Southern Railways, the drivers were on the left side. So when it came to grouping, and the various railways exchanged locos or were operating them on others' lines, the drivers were had to be very careful because of the difference in the position where they were operating from. Not a great problem, but I'm sure they got used to it very quickly. Right. Another fact is Hornby produced from 1972 until 1979 They sold 265,000 of these models, either sold separately or as part of a set, which would have come with some wagons and maybe a controller and some track. So that's an amazing number. Okay, so let's have a look at this one running. Nice slow start. This is pulling 12 coal wagons. And if we have a look, if I zoom in on this one, Vale of Glamorgan Railway, Barry Island. And that's where Mr. Dai Woodham had his scrapyard. And as you can see, all of the coal wagons have Welsh connection markings. So we have them from Cardiff, Newport, Aberdare. We have them from a number of locations in Wales. The first one is from Tunbridge, that's in Kent. Nice steady runner. I also believe that Bachmann have or are introducing the London Transport version, which is the red livery 060. So I'm sure that'll be a fine model. Very nice runner. These are ideal for shunting because they will run at a very, very slow crawl. So that's ideal. Excellent. Hockaday, Newport, Cwmbran, Aberdare, Cardiff. This one's Worcester, and there's the brake van. So, like I say, with these goods wagons, they were unbraked, so they had to have a brake van. Here's another Bachmann pannier, which is in British Rail colour, so you can see that one's black. That's also a Bachmann. Okay, now it's going up the gradient. I've just increased the power just a touch to help it. Some of these coal wagons are quite weighty, so it's pulling 12 plus the brake van. It'll pull a lot more. These 060s are very good pullers, very, very good. And they have enough weight. Some of the 060s being produced now, they have plastic chassis, and they don't seem to have the pulling capability of the older locos, but the Bachmann are very good. So now I'll slow it right down. So you can see that's ideal for shunting. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Bye now.